On this episode of the Hanford Insider, Mark Kairis and Jeff Garner share with us how the Kings County Homelessness Collaborative is working to end homelessness in our area. Rob will review the upcoming calendar of events, then I'll be back with your sports report. This is the Hanford Insider for Monday, September 8th.
Welcome to the Hanford Insider Podcast, your backstage pass to the stories, people, and events that make Hanford such a special place to call home. Each episode, we shine a spotlight on our community, from local history and hidden gems to today's movers and shakers and hometown heroes. Whether you've lived here all your life or you're just discovering Hanford, this is where you'll find the conversations that keep you connected. I'm your host, Rob Bentley. Let's dive in, because there's always more to discover right here in Hanford. The Hanford City Council won't have another meeting until September 16th, but you should mark your calendars now for the next Council Corner at Hanford Fire Station number 3 on Thursday, September 18th with Mark Kairis and Chris Tavares. It was great to see so many people taking advantage of the fishing derby at Hidden Valley Park last Saturday. It was a great event. Many thanks to the Department of Parks and Community Services for putting on this special event. Now, let's take a look at this week's community calendar. On Monday, September 8th, the 1776 Sons of Liberty meeting will be a community forum to discuss the East Lacey Improvement Project with Mayor Travis Payton. The meeting begins at 7 p.m. at the Hanford Elks Lodge. Also on Monday night, Cub Scout Pack 432 will hold a recruitment night at the Veterans Hall. If you can't make it on Monday night, you can look up Pack 432 on Facebook to contact Michael Gonzalez for more information. At the Thursday Night Marketplace this week, it's Volunteer Appreciation Night with country music by Houston Avenue. The Carnegie Museum of Kings County's History of Agriculture in Kings County Part 2 opens this weekend. They'll be open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. through December 14th. Kings County Special Olympics will be hosting a walking club inside the Hanford Mall beginning Sunday, September 14th from noon until 1 p.m. September 19th is the date for the annual Commission on Aging Picnic in the Park at Burris Park. This year, there will also be a classic car show. Visit kccoa.org for details. On Friday, September 19th, the Sierra Pacific Cheerleaders will be having a camp at their school from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Participants will get to perform at the Golden Bear football game the following week. On September 24th, Kings Community Action will be hosting an environmental justice community workshop from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at their offices at 1130 North 11th Avenue. The workshop will provide children and adults a general overview of the city project focused on environmental justice and equity, and will include a brief presentation and interactive activities as part of the preparation for the city's environmental justice element. The Kings County Resource Fair is on Thursday, September 25th in the Civic Auditorium from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. There'll be lots of resources about vocational training, mental health and behavioral supports, special education, county services, and community programs. If you have an event coming up and you'd like some help getting the word out, let's work together. Send your information to hanfordinsider@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe to my weekly newsletter to get a complete calendar of events. It's the most comprehensive community calendar available. Well, we all know that homelessness continues to be an issue in California, Kings County, and Hanford in particular. And I thought it would be a great opportunity for us to talk with Jeff Garner, who is the Executive Director of the Kings County Homelessness Collaborative, and Hanford City Councilman Mark Kairis, who's a member of the collaborative. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you, Rob, for having us. Yeah, Rob, appreciate the opportunity and to be there time with.
You know, as I said in the opening, homelessness continues to be an issue, and there's no easy answer, that's for sure. And I'd like to hear a little bit about the Kings County Homelessness Collaborative and how they're working to solve some of our current challenges.
Yeah. So first off, thanks again, Rob, for having us and giving us the platform to talk about really this challenge that impacts all of us here in Kings County, and that's our homeless population and what we can do about it to find better days ahead. So really starting with the Kings County Homeless Collaborative, the collaborative was formed in 2019, and it was made up of various entities, public, private, here in Kings County. It really was a call from the Kings County Board of Supervisors to bring the stakeholders together to do something impactful to address our homeless challenges. And so myself, representing Kings Community Action Organization, we have a seat at the table, as well as the cities have a representative. And Mark serves as the city representative for all of Kings County. So that includes Hanford, Avenel, Lemoore, and Corcoran. So it makes up, there's I think 17, 18 different members on the collaborative. Everyone has a different perspective, which is great, and different ideas on what the challenges are and what we can do about it. And so since that time, a lot has happened on the collaborative. We do meet monthly. It's a public meeting. We've had public comments. We encourage the public to come out, learn about the homeless challenges. We get various reports from local experts on what is the current trends and what's happening. So a lot has come out of it. It's forced us to the table in a good way to brainstorm, leverage resources. So there's been a lot of good things. And so we're really, proud to be part of that. And to have people like Mark and others who are there really trying to say, what can we do to make things better? So it's been a good effort since we started.
So Mark, as a city councilman, I know you've heard plenty of comments from your constituents about the homelessness problem in the Hanford area, downtown, shopping centers. Can you tell us how the no camping ordinance is working and some of the efforts that the council has been making?
Well, of course, if we go back a couple of years ago, we talk about the grants passed and the Boise decisions that were impactful on communities, and then the governor's executive order came out and basically established, the no camping ordinances and the executive order that directs cities to follow suit. The city of Hanford and the council was very supportive of that. So with the help of our city attorney and other organizations, we did draft a no camping ordinance for within the city and put some restrictions on where that homeless population can be. And so it is a challenge, no doubt. We are fully aware of the impacts that are affecting the downtown and their businesses. Like I would say, if not weekly, I'm getting a call or an email or a text message from business owner expressing concerns. We share those concerns with the Hanford Police Department. Of course, we have the Housing Assistance Response Team, or the HART team, that is made up of, I believe right now we're at 2, possibly a third officer that's handling the homelessness issues in the city. They are proactive. They are out engaging on a daily basis, trying to keep that, especially the downtown area, free. Again, though, but as you make those moves, right, they have a tendency to relocate and resettle in other parts of the city. So when we talk about the homeless, I know when I originally, joined the collaborative 2.5 years ago, the point in time count was about 417 people for, Kings County. This year, we've seen a decrease the last couple of years. This year, that number is down to 302. Now, that number, is impactful for us as an organization to kind of see what the current trends are and what's happening. But then, that's also a good test for us to show the great work that KCAO is doing in providing, temporary supportive housing for individuals. As we talk about, you hear about the Sunrise Center, Triangle Courtyard, things like that. The Barbara-Saville Center. They are doing so many things for the community to assist with getting those people into some sort of progressive housing position to help clear that up. So, as we have this discussion, we get into the low barrier shelter and the things that are on the plan for the future, I think we're going to see some drastic impact.
Yeah, we'll get to the low barrier shelter in just a minute. Mark, I wanted to ask you, what are the types of questions that you are getting from your constituents, the concerns, and maybe some truths, and amongst all this falsehood that occurs online, what are some truths about how we can handle someone who's on the property? Or, I know there's a lot of hoops to jump through, but just in general, can you describe for us a scenario and how it's handled?
Well, I think, that's a great question, Rob. And I know it's multifaceted for, when we're talking about the downtown and businesses, I encourage those business owners and property owners to contact the police department, let them know that there's an issue that's occurring. They can get an officer out there to help, rectify that situation. One of the challenges that we have in our community is we have, vacant properties, right? The owner may be from Hanford or they may not be, but they own vacant property here in town. And that has kind of pushed some of those people onto those properties, which then becomes a challenge for the neighborhood that is in. So, again, when it comes to private property, we want to work with the property owner and let them be aware of what's going on. If they're allowing that, that's something that we can't control. That's their property. But if they're on the property and they're unaware that they're there and they want them removed, we work with those different property owners to, help clear those areas out, because they become a place. It's like once they get rooted in and kind of settled in, it makes it a challenge. So first and foremost, I encourage anyone that's having an issue with the homelessness or on transient occupation, or occupants that are in or around their businesses, contact the police department. Our Chief Huddleston has, been very supportive of council and the directions that we're moving forward and working with her. And she understands the importance that it has on the community, but it is a challenge. It is an ongoing challenge. And that's why, we as a council have tried to partner with KCAO to move forward and to address those issues, and then to be actively on the collaborative myself for the last 2 years and serving as the chair the last 2 years. It's been good to have that seat at the table, right? And be able to have that voice and have those conversations. And there are some great people out there that are trying to make an impact in a positive way for the community. But if there's an issue, please let us.
Yeah, thank you for that, Mark. Jeff, this is probably a good question for you. There are services offered for homeless people in Kings County. These are people that need help, and they're able to seek and receive help if they need it, correct? I know there's shelters out on East Lacey. There's programs on East Lacey. There's the North Star Courts, the Episcopal Church of the Savior Soup Kitchen. What type of services are currently being offered, and how can they access them?
So right now we are seeing, I would say more services that are being offered to the homeless population. And so it really does start with a street outreach team that goes out to the homeless population and informs them about the various services that are available to them and how they would go about accessing them. So like for us at KCAO, we operate the Barbara-Saville Shelter, which is a 38-bed shelter, primarily designated for domestic violence victims. But if there are beds available, we do open it up for women and children who are experiencing homelessness. And we've done, I think, a really good job making those beds available and getting the word out on how individuals can access that shelter. We also, as you mentioned, we opened up the Sunrise Apartments, which is a 22-unit apartment there on East Lacey that is helping individuals who were experiencing homelessness to get them into what we call rapid rehousing. So it gets them off the street and into an apartment unit. We also are working with Kings County Behavioral Health, doing transitional housing there on East Lacey as well. And so there's a lot of different things that I know we have taken on here at KCAO. We just launched a rental assistance program as well, and housing assistance. So for those individuals who are experiencing homelessness or are in danger of being homeless, we can jump in and provide the resources that would either get them off the street or prevent them from sliding into homelessness. And there's a lot of other wonderful agencies in the county that are doing a lot of good things too. Champions, the Soup Kitchen. So there are a lot that we're just recognizing, all of us, that there's a huge need in our community. So we got to do something. We got to devote whatever resources we do have to focus on helping these individuals. Which when we see it, when we're helping homeless individuals, that's a help for the whole community. And just as Mark alluded to about property owners, business owners, residents, we know that when we can intervene and provide assistance to the homeless population, it's a win for everyone. And so that is something that we really have focused on the last couple of years, is understanding that this is a call from the entire community. And so, we're playing our part and what we're good at, and that is providing good quality, effective services. And that's what we've been doing the last, 60 years for us as an agency. But in terms of the homeless population, we really have ratcheted up our efforts over the last 3 or 4 years.
And one of the big projects that you're working on, of course, is the low barrier shelter. And that is tentatively planned for 10th and Hanford Armona Road, yes?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, that's our largest project we've ever taken on here at KCAO. And so that project is definitely a game changer when it comes to addressing our homeless challenges, as well as other services and needs of our community. So that idea was born out of, first it really started with the need for us to find a new food bank location. We do provide the only food bank here in Kings County. And so it really started with the idea we got to find a new property for a food bank. We got to build a large food bank based on the space we have now. We're really investing out of the scene. We're leasing space with the city of Lemoore. They've been a great partner of ours since 2010 on the food bank. So it really started with, we got to find a new home for our food bank. And then as the calls and the data kept growing louder and louder about what are we going to do with the homeless population and the challenges that we face, specifically not having a low barrier emergency shelter, those two kind of worlds collided. And I say collided probably in a good way, where we said, okay, instead of just focusing on a food bank, let's also focus at the same time building a campus that includes not only a food bank, but a low barrier shelter. And then in between of that, we also need to operate, or we need to have a centralized kitchen to support our preschool programs, as well as the shelter operation. So we started with the idea of a food bank, and it grew into a low barrier shelter for 200 individuals, a centralized kitchen that would serve not only the homeless population, but a lot of individuals that would be in need of food assistance, and then a 40,000 square foot food bank. And so it turned into this campus of synergy, where we understand that all of those pieces are going to be there to support each other. And that's what we really love about it. The site that we did purchase in 2023 is the corner of 10th Avenue and Hanford Armona Road. It's about 11 acres. And so definitely big enough space for us to develop that into those 3 phases of the project, as well as, future development where we can have office buildings and other services join that campus at a later date. So we're excited about it. I mean, it really is something that we feel will have a lasting impact. We do expect to break ground early 2026. Construction would go on through the rest of that year. And then in early 2027, phase 1 of the project would be completed. And that is the 200-bed emergency shelter. And then from there, a year or 2 later, we'll start with move to the centralized kitchen.
So what's the source for the funding for this? I understand you have had some donors, but you've gotten grants and such. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. We have brought in $7.7 million funding. We need about $8 million to complete phase 1. And so as part of that was also purchasing the property. So that has been taken care of. But we really have had tremendous support from the community. And we've learned is sometimes you just got to ask, and people will come forward with their generosity. And it really has turned into a nonpartisan project as well. We've had support come in at the federal level from Congressman David Valadao. He helped secure $2 million of funding for the project. State Senator Melissa Hurtado, she helped secure $1 million for funding for phase one. We received grants. We received donations from significant donation from a local farmer up to $1 million. And so we really have been very fortunate that people have rallied around this project. And the city of Hanford, they've been wonderful partners. They've contributed. They pledged up to $1 million. So far, they've contributed $600,000. And it's just a matter of us completing the necessary paperwork and the applications. And we hope to get the rest of the funding, in the near future. So it's been great. It's been great to have that. We are going to be launching a capital campaign where we're going to invite residents to be part of the building. So meaning they can contribute $1, they contribute $1 million, but we want people to feel like they have an opportunity to support this project as well, knowing that it's going to have a major benefit for us as a community.
Robin, that's what kind of made things really simple for us to partner with KCAO. When you look at the problems, we talk about food insecurities, we talk about affordable housing. This is an organization that deals with this on a daily basis. And so it was an easy decision for us in the council to say, hey, we're here with you. We're here to support you. We're excited to see where it goes. And then, of course, with us, we talked for a lot about Measure H. You talk about, the funding and things that kind of go. When we did the survey regarding Measure H, that was one of the concerns that the community was supportive behind was helping with the homelessness and stuff in the community. So as we move forward and that stuff becomes available, we want to partner and stay a partner with KCAO, move forward and provide some opportunities that are right now are not available.
And then Rob, I'll just add, I want to make sure I don't leave anyone off, but the county, they've also been a big supporter of ours as well. And they've made significant contributions on the front end as well. So really by having this money up front, the seed money, it gave us confidence, even though we're not at that exact amount that we need for phase one, it gave us enough confidence to say, we got to continue, we got to break ground, we got to build, because as what we're learning in the construction world, things take time. And so we just can't wait and then expect to say, okay, well, the next day everything's going to be up and running. I mean, this has really been a 2-year project already, from buying the property, going through the permit process, working with our architect, the design phase. So there's a lot that goes into it. So to have that early support was a game changer for us. And so we really do appreciate everyone who has jumped in, and we expect more folks are going to want to be part.
Definitely. It sounds like a collaboration for sure with all these different agencies. Once again, it's the Kings County Homelessness Collaborative. Jeff Garner, Executive Director, and Mark Kairis is a member, along with many other people. I'm looking here on your website, and you've got quite a crew. How many people do you have on your board?
18, pretty big number. Great to have that representation. I mean, from law enforcement, we have private citizens, we have business owners, we have the county office of ed. So really everyone, as we know, this challenge touches all of us. And so it's been great to have that level of involvement, and the meetings are consistent. People show up, they come with ideas, we work out challenges, and it's been great. I'm definitely applaud the county board of supervisors for starting that and really saying, you guys got to get together and help address these challenges.
And the whole purpose, Rob, behind that was, you bring in all these partnerships, all these stakeholders who are getting funding from different, areas, and to be able to sit down in a room and talk about the different funding sources and who has what and what's available. And that's critical when it comes to moving projects like this forward, knowing where that funding is coming from.
So the website, I will link it on the show notes, but you can Google it. Just put it right in your search engine there. It's the Kings County Homelessness Collaborative, and I will provide the show links to the website as well as contact information for Jeff and Mark. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us today and kind of just breaking the surface, as it were, in regards to homelessness issues here in Kings County. And I just like to thank you for your work. And I know there's a lot of hardworking people doing this. So thank you so much for joining us.
Rob, thank you for asking, Rob. I'm out next to Garner here. We have a great relationship, and it's nice to have that as we move forward. So thank you.
And now it's time for Hanford Insider Sports with Eric Bentley.
We'll start with football, where Sierra Pacific was the only team to pick up a win last week, going on the road and taking down Corcoran 27-21 last Friday. At 2-1 on the year and having won 2 in a row, the Golden Bears are gaining some momentum, but they've got a short week this week as they'll play host to Kalinga this Thursday at 7:15. Hanford High played in a game last week that the final score didn't really tell the story, as they fell to St. Joseph's 31-6 last Friday. The Bullpup defense kept the game within reach, only allowing 17 points through 3 quarters, while the offense really struggled. A 19-yard rushing touchdown finally got the Bullpups on the board with 9 minutes left in the game. However, a 61-yard fumble return for a touchdown and a blocked punt for a touchdown really tilted the final score in the Knights' favor. Hanford High falls to 1-2, but will have a good chance to get back on track this week as a struggling El Diamante comes to town on Friday at 7. And the struggles continue for Hanford West as the Huskies were shut out again, this time by Woodlake to fall to 0-3. A Saturday home game with Kerman awaits this week, 7:30 kickoff set for that game. In girls volleyball, Hanford West continues to impress, taking down Golden West and Avenel last week in straight sets to improve to 6-1 on the year. After a season-opening defeat to Lemoore, the Huskies have won 6 in a row and will take on Tulare Western and El Diamante this week. Hanford High and Sierra Pacific both lost their matchups in straight sets last week. Now out to the pool for water polo, where the only boys update we have is Sierra Pacific, as the Golden Bears went 3-2 in their 5 games last week. After a close 16-14 non-league loss to Edison on Tuesday, the Golden Bears bounced back in the Tulare Union tournament, taking down Hanford West, Mount Whitney, and Tulare Western before falling in the championship to Redwood. Sierra Pacific will take on Lemoore this Tuesday. On the girls' water polo side, Hanford High was able to pick up a 7-5 win over Justin Garza, and Hanford West took down Madera 20-18, while Sierra Pacific fell in both of their matchups last week. As always, we like to cover as many sports as we can, but we can only do so much without you. Any sport, any team, any level, if you have a score report, a story idea, or a team update, please let us know at hanfordinsider@gmail.com. I'm Eric Bentley, and this has been your Hanford Insider Sports Report.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week's show. If you enjoyed this community service podcast and you'd like to show your support, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Hanford Insider to make a donation. If you'd like to join the Hanford Insider email list, stop by my website at hanfordinsider.com to sign up for updates. You'll also get an exclusive copy of my newsletter in your inbox each week. I also need your help getting the word out about the show by liking and sharing on social media, or like most people, just telling a friend. For more information about the show, you can find this podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, and YouTube at Hanford Insider. If you have a show idea, be sure to email me at hanfordinsider@gmail.com and I'll look into it. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.